This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us at WZRD, Nicki Sage of Simply Sage Media and Entertainment. But she is also a philanthropist. Nicki, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
Very, very well. So first of all, Nicki, you were first a musician, right? And then you got involved into everything else, and that means a lot else.
Yes, absolutely. I've been playing music since I was about 6 years old. Yeah, so the arts and performing arts have always been a part of my life. I progressed more into my professional career as I got older, and I moved out around a lot. After I graduated high school, I moved to Nashville, where I was based for about 5 years. Met some really awesome people, worked on some really great events with the cast of the show Nashville. That was really fun. I've also lived in Atlanta, Georgia, where I actually worked as a full-time actress, and then also Los Angeles and Denver. And I'm projected to go on a tour later this summer as well.
Wow. Well, let's say first things first. So you were 6 years old and you were singing. What were you singing? What were you interested at that time?
I just remember doing some kind of like recital for like some kind of like after school program or something that I was a part of that my like parents kind of put me in.
Mm.
And I remember like just like going up on stage after like having like taken like a few like classes on how to like play, the keyboard, synth, like slash piano. And we were just like, shredding it up there. I like played like my first like solo and everything, and yeah, it was a blast. And a
So you were a performer from an early age. You did you get stage fright at that time?
little bit, yeah. The first time I was a little scared, but I gotta admit, like when you're a kid, you really aren't gonna be that scared because you're so like innocent and naive, so like everything is like so new to you, and when you're that excited, like you just don't really have the energy to be scared, at least when you're a kid, you
Uh-huh.
know.
So the piano and keyboard classes, were they part of your school program, or did your parents enroll you so that you to keep you musically minded?
A little bit of both, actually. Yes, I was fortunate enough to get a good education. I, was able to, take music classes, throughout my schooling. But my parents also did encourage me to, take lessons and participate in musical activities outside of school as well.
Mhm.
And I'm definitely very blessed that my parents, like sort of like even like pushed me into like doing music from an early age because, like I have a career and, I have a skill that I can always count on. And yeah, I'm definitely very, very grateful for that.
Mhm. I know that some parents they just want their kids to have that musical side of them brought out. What about your parents? Were they actually in the in the music industry at all, or they just wanted to give you the opportunity to experience music?
Yeah, they just, wanted to give me the opportunity to experience music. Both my sister and I were, extremely creative and musical. I've also been a published writer since I was 12 years old. I got, published in the press, back when I, was actually, I think I was like 11 or 12, back in middle school. But that was my first publication. And then after that, I started, getting offers to get my poetry published in literary magazines on a regular basis. And I was basically like earning income as a published writer as a little kid,
Oh, that's
as
nice.
a little girl.
So you got royalties from your writings then.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
got like, yeah, and I got flat payments too for submissions and stuff. Whenever my works got published, they would pay me a flat rate for that.
well, that's segueing into writing songs. But when did you start performing? Actually on the stage instead of at school. How did you get that first gig?
Well, I started like playing in like, like very, very like indie. I wouldn't even say indie, like, like garage, like, like indie bands, like punk bands in high school. And we, like gigged around a little bit. But I honestly really didn't, my music career didn't really take off until after I graduated high school and I left home and I moved to Nashville and I really put myself out there, and it was a struggle. I was like, I pretty much arrived with like nothing when I got there. I was staying with a friend who lived like, like way outside in the outskirts, and I didn't have a car, and I was like crashing on her couch, and it was rough, like humble beginnings, but I'm very blessed to be where I'm at today, after, putting in the work and paying my dues for years and years.
Well, you said that in a biography that you particularly like the story aspect of music. So some of those struggles, did you apply those experiences to writing and then into songwriting?
Yes, actually, I would say that like 100% of my songs are based on my personal experiences, in one way or another. I feel as if the songs that I personally resonate with the most, not even just for my own music, but for like anyone's music, the ones that I resonate with are the ones that I identify with, the ones that I relate to.
Mhm.
So I do my best to try to tell stories through my songs so that I can, allow my audience to identify with it, because I feel as if whenever people realize that there's somebody else out there who's been through what they've been through, they feel less alone and it touches them. Music is very healing, it's therapeutic, it brings people together.
I read that you liked pop songs before, but then you wanted to instill stories into them. That made it more the most interesting. So, could you maybe tell us about one or two songs that that actually happened?
So my favorite story to tell out of my songs would really be the one for Hey Whitney. So Hey Whitney was about this girl that I met on a dating app called OkCupid. Like, back in the day, this was like about 3, 4 years ago, probably more actually. But yeah, like 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, right before COVID. And like I guess like she had a good photographer or something and like knew how to do Photoshop really like work Photoshop really well because she looked really attractive and I got really nervous. I didn't know like how to talk to her even though she kept being like, "Hey, let's meet up, like let's go out," and I was just like nervous. So I like wrote her this song to try to like serenade her. But then like I ended up like sort of like adding like this like plot twist at the end that like made it so that like I like lost my objective in the song. Like I was trying to win the girl in the song that was the plot of the story, and I did, you know, like yeah, sorry. Just kind of gave it away, spoiler alert, but like at the end of the song, like I do kiss the girl and everyone's like all excited, like, yeah, you did it. And then it turns out I wake up, it was all a dream. And the reason why well, I guess the reason why I subconsciously did that, because it was not intentional at first. I wrote this song at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But the reason why I did that subconsciously was because it was like a way for me to sort of like portray how like oftentimes in queer relationships, especially, amongst queer women, we're like scared to like tell each other like how we feel because like we live in this like very like like heteronormative world where like people abide by these gender roles. So like when we're like thrown into the queer umbrella and we're like, okay, so we're women, but like who makes the first move? It kind of like, makes things like awkward. And it's just like almost like a way for me to say, like, hey, this is what's gonna happen if you like don't put yourself out there and just go for it. So it's kind of like me like telling my story so that like I can like almost like allow others to learn from my mistakes, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Do anybody ever call you a trailblazer for this?
I haven't heard that in a while actually, but I appreciate that.
When you started playing to in gigs, what kind of music did you play?
I started with just, like top 40s, like, country, classic rock, the stuff that like bars usually like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly started, by like, playing at like bars and breweries and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of progressed on to like private events and then like festivals and I mean my career, progressed on and on throughout the years. The more I put myself out there and the more, I worked hard. I
Mm-hmm.
had to put in a lot of hard work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely all been very, very worthwhile.
So in the beginning, it was mostly covers that you did, right? And then you started writing your own songs, being inspired by country songs, right?
Well, so I've actually always written my own songs. I actually was doing that before the cover. Is the reason why I decided to even go the cover route was because I got tired of working at restaurants and
Mm-hmm.
like being burnt out, like working all these day jobs or like doing all these side hustles while like still trying to like do music. And it just wasn't really possible for me. Like I have nothing against anybody who wants to work another job outside of music. In fact, even though I do like the entertainment industry full time, I'm not just a musician. I'm also an actress. I'm a writer. I help run an agency. I'm actually the co-owner of Simply Sage Media and Entertainment, and we're a talent agency. We have clients that we manage that have opened up for huge artists such as Wiz Khalifa and Post Malone. So, I wear a lot of hats, but I will say that, so I guess where I was going with this was, I started out small, and I, as like a bedroom musician, trying to like write songs and like, releasing them on like back in when I was in high school, it was like MySpace and like Pure Volume. And then I went from that to, gigging regularly at bars because I was like, you know what, I'd much rather just play covers at bars than like be a server at those bars.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I like moved on up and like did gigged full time as a musician at those bars, like I noticed that like restaurants and bars treated me a lot better than when I was a server. All of a sudden I wasn't just the help, I was the talent. But not this. I mean, I feel I'm altruistic. I feel like everyone should be treated the same, but it did kind of show me, how the entertainment industry is like a whole other world, and it was, a whole other world of opportunity. And I guess the reason why I did the covers was because I just didn't want to work a day job anymore.
Mm-hmm. And when did you say that the businesses where you gig at, they treated the servers better or better than they treated the talent,
No, the
or the
other way
other way
around.
around?
They
Okay, got
treated
it.
the servers worse. Like
Of
when
course.
you're, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh no, no worries.
And then also when you started uh your agency, did you cater to a specific kind of client so that who share your experiences, or just people with talent?
Well, when I first started the agency, I was fortunate enough to meet some really amazing artists, including Shy Songwriter, aka Casper Alexander. He was like my very first client. And he's the guy who actually has opened for Post Malone and Wiz Khalifa. He tours all over the US, like all year long, going from like city to city, playing all these conventions. So I would say that I got lucky, by being introduced to successful professional artists early on. And Casper actually is now hosting for me too. He hosts my Monday night open mic nights at a Pork Chop Speakeasy in Rogers Park / Edgewater, right by the Loyola University campus. Starts at 7, goes on until midnight.
Mm. When did you start giving back? Because you've been so busy with your career, and then of course you learn about setting up events just by working. So of course you were able to apply that experience to your events. But when did your events start becoming uh, fundraisers?
Well, I've actually been working with nonprofits for several years now. I actually helped them open up, Albuquerque, New Mexico's
Mm,
very first LGBTQ center. Actually, New Mexico in general, like their first LGBTQ center. Headlined, Pride, for several years straight. I've always been heavily involved with Pride, with charitable causes and incorporating, my aspiration for humanitarian work into my music career. I feel as if the best artists out there are the ones who do give back. Because I feel as if when you're an artist, it's like you're calling, like you're almost, spitting in whatever higher power you believe. You're like spitting in like God or whatever higher power you believe in's like face when you don't, like follow that calling and like inspire society. It's like Sanford Meisner, like one of my favorite, classic acting coaches. He said that being an actor or actress is a religious calling because you've been, called to inspire humanity. And that's how I feel as an artist in general, as an actress, as a musician, as a writer. I feel as if, I need to be helping people. People, leave it up to people like me to inspire society.
mhm. When you write and then publish, it does it seem to you that it seemed to me when I was speaking that some people they write to publish, but it seems as if you had so much creativity in you that finally you published some of it. What really happened?
Do you mind elaborating on that?
Well, some people write to publish, but then
Oh,
some people seem to be like you that have a lot of creativity, and then finally, some of it you decide to publish it instead of writing to publish. You just write and then publish later. So what's the real story with you?
I try to follow a pretty strategic marketing plan with everything I do, especially for single releases. I like to take my time and, make sure that I give myself enough time for like pre-production and then like promotion. I also like work with like, press sources. Um, even for single releases, I'm actually gonna start making sure that the press is involved, for pretty much every single release. I'm gonna be releasing a music video soon, as well as multiple singles, and then I'm going to be releasing an EP or even a full album. And when I release that, I'm actually going to produce and throw a musical, that, wrote and composed, and the songs in the music were actually going to be the songs, my next album, basically.
Wow. And at the musical, do you have someone like a venue already established? How far along are you in the process of staging the show?
Well, Pork Chop is our home. So we're definitely going to be doing shows there, but we're actually going to be planning on doing a bit of a tour with the musical, and we're also going to be doing a cinematic version where we're going to be filming it and releasing it as a feature film as well. So we definitely have huge marketing plans, and I am going to be going on tour, towards the end of summer, beginning of fall. So I feel like timing wise, everything will just, as soon as, yeah, I definitely project, a really bright future for, everything that I have planned. But for the musical, I'm planning on kind of waiting until things sort of slow down in like the late fall, like November, December, but
You mean when your schedule slows down, you got a packed schedule? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, yeah. So over the summer, I kind of plan on going on tour, and really getting my name out there nationally, and making sure that like I blow up, and then I'm going to do release the musical.
Hmm.
Get the hype going, and then boom.
Hmm. So then when you all these plans, did you have a mentor that to guide you in this in the business world in this business, or did you learn it in school, or did you just a lot of experience on the other side help you gain insight on the production side?
A little bit of, I mean, really all of the above. I've been blessed enough to have several mentors, from, the very beginning of my journey who were available to just really take me under their wing and guide me. But I also actually, even though I didn't start out as, somebody who, had an academic approach when it came to the industry, I actually did decide to go back to school at one point when I was younger, while working in the industry, and pursued the, you know, academic route for a while, and that was very, rewarding too. I definitely, learned a lot, made a lot of valuable connections. I definitely feel as if there's, many ways, to make it in the industry. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do a little bit of everything, try a little bit of everything, and very grateful to be where I'm at today.
We played In a Box earlier. Could you tell us a little bit about that song?
Yes. So In a Box is a song that I wrote when I sort of had enough with my quote unquote haters. I was going through like this sort of like empowered moment, like a rock bottom moment when I realized like, hey, like I know who I am now and I'm not afraid anymore. I know who I am and I'm ready to show the world who I am too. And anyone who gets in my way, I don't even care about what they have to think about me anymore. It's a song that I wrote, when I was like in warrior mode. And it's not really just even about me, it's so that I can express, my story through like my first person point of view, so that other people can listen to it and resonate with it through their point of view, basically.
So you wanted to show people how to break out of the box.
Exactly, yeah, because nobody wants to be put in a box,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter like who you are, like what like your background is. Like people can be cruel and they judge what they don't understand.
How difficult was it in acting? Was it like additional income, or how did it fit into with your music?
I would say that acting and music definitely go hand in hand. I'm a bit biased, but I feel as if every musician should take an acting class and learn how to act because it does make you a better performer. Same with dancing. I will say that I have gotten so many more opportunities ever since I started dancing professionally as well. And dance is a huge part, of my artistry in general. I spend hours and hours and hours into rehearsing and choreographing my original songs for my shows and perform live with professional backup dancers as well as a band.
Mm. So in other words, uh, acting and dancing helps you to be more aware of your presence and how that fits into the art of the music.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Mm.
And I feel as if they're all just intertwined, you know. I mean, being a singer and a dancer and you know,
Choreographer?
yeah, singer, dancer, I mean, and then actress. I mean, you're gonna get booked more. And if you think about it, I was actually talking to my boyfriend about this morning. If you really think about it, like even though like Netflix and all of that is like huge these days, and people are kind of slowly, steering away from like mainstream media is still not going to go away. And if you think about it, like some musicians sort of like waste their time like trying to get like exposure on a local level like a little bit too much. Like I think it's great to have a loyal home base and everything, but when you like just focus on what's in front of you, like it's just going to it's not going to allow you to expand, so why like play, a bunch of like small shows back to back when you can just get on like a television show, even if it's like reality TV or like American Idol or like The Voice, and like get your like one shot, like your 10 minutes on national television, and you never know, you might end up becoming famous because of it. I mean, David Archuleta, he didn't even win American Idol and he became famous. I actually worked with this producer on my song More Than a Memory. He's a really cool dude. His producer's name is Nate Dodge, and he actually lives in Nashville.
Did you ever perform, try out for American Idol and The Voice?
No, no, I actually never did. When I was younger, I thought that was a gimmick. Like I used to like make fun of the people who like actually like stood in line. I was like, I can't believe they would like fall for that. Like that's all rigged. I actually like worked with a vocal coach in Atlanta at one point. Like definitely wouldn't be where I'm at in my vocal career if it wasn't for her, but she actually told me some things about American Idol, but I don't really want to get too into that. But I it it's a lot of it's rigged. Um, but at the same time, there's also been many instances where people have gotten like discovered just from like being having that screen time, even like an audition, even if they don't like even get a call back, as long as like they're on TV and like, somebody noticed them. Like there's people who like get like, score deals on those shows all the time, like behind the scenes.
Mm. So let's talk about your fundraising. Um, who needs the funds, and then how do you decide how what fundraiser to do, and how did you start in this?
So instead of being like, you know, most people and like finding like a random nonprofit, and telling people, hey, just donate to this nonprofit. Like we partnered with them. We're a good cause, blah, blah, blah. Um, we have a different approach to how we do charity. We believe in a grassroots, community based mutual aid approach. So, our intention is to start this foundation called the SAGE Foundation. And through the SAGE Foundation, we plan on taking, percentages from our revenue for our future shows, and slowly putting them towards this foundation where we are going to start doing community outreaches, and we are going to be looking for projects, community projects, or anybody in the Rogers Park, Greater Chicago community, or really just all over the world. Anybody who needs our help can reach out to us, tell us like what they need, and then we'll come out and we'll sponsor their cause. And it could be anything as small as like, a little girl needing help, getting like marketing for her lemonade stand so she can like raise money for her school to be able to like, have an event. Or, it could be, I mean, it could really be anything. It could be like, a trans person trying to get surgery so that they can finally be who they are, and they need to raise money for that. I mean, no cause is too little or too small for us. We believe that everybody matters, and we don't compare scars or anything, and we are going to be planning on just being able to just go out and directly go to the demographics that nonprofit organizations typically target, and we're just going to hand them the money ourselves, be like, hey, here's a check from the Sage Foundation.
Mhm. So the Sage Foundation is the is okay, it's the backer. So you raise the funds and it goes into the foundation. The foundation moves the money to the nonprofit, right? Kind of like that.
No, it's very grassroots funded. So instead of like just giving it to some like business, which essentially a nonprofit. Well, I mean, instead of just giving it to like some random nonprofit, which most people are leery of these days, anyways. We're actually going to do a grassroots approach where we're gonna like do even like focus on individuals. Like if somebody writes us an email and tells us, "Hi, Nicki Sage. My name is blah, blah, blah. I wanted to let you know that, I just came out as trans and I need to raise money for my, gender surgery. Can you please sponsor us? We'll reach out, and we will, we'll sponsor them. We'll, like give them the funds for their surgery, but from the revenue that we collect from the events that we have been throwing already. But except that starting from this Saturday, we are going to be doing charity fundraising for every show that we throw. And like I said, instead of donating it to a charity like most people who claim to be philanthropists do, we're actually going to just go out and do the volunteer work and do the outreach and do the service work ourselves.
Got it. So instead of using the nonprofit as a go-between, you are actually going to help the people that need the help
Directly.
directly.
Yes.
And those fundraisers that you mentioned, more or less, those have happened already. So
Yes. Yes. Yes, we actually just did a fundraiser last Saturday. Yeah, you and Bill were there and gave a speech, which was lovely, by the way. That was a great success. Everybody was really happy. We saved, we raised a little bit of money, and now we're gonna really kick it off this Saturday at a pork chop in Rogers Park / Edgewater, the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and Trudy and Bill, are gonna be there, and it's gonna be a music festival for Pride, and it's gonna start from 5 p.m. Gonna go all the way on till midnight. And that's going to be another fundraising effort where we are going to be essentially giving away a good share of our revenue to the LGBTQ community, like folks in the LGBTQ community on a local level who need our help. So for Pride, for this particular event, like our demographic is the LGBTQ community. We're sort of gonna like, switch between like different causes and stuff. We're there to help everybody. We're humanists. We're not just philanthropists. We want to help humans.
Mhm. And when you decided on this kind of fundraising, did you see that oftentimes the people that you want to help do not get the funds they need through the a nonprofit arm? It's easier to, it's more straightforward, is it, to just get the money directly into their hands, the people who are to come to you for that fundraising?
That's exactly why we do this. We don't tell anybody that we are a charity, or a 401, nonprofit. By all means, we are a foundation. We are a grassroots community, donor funded organization that sponsors charitable causes. Not charitable, I guess I would say, not charitable, but sponsors people in need, regardless if it's an individual or a group. And we all in all, want to serve as community liaisons and essentially superheroes.
Uh, is there any group that comes to mind to you that you have helped?
The LGBTQ community has definitely always been, a community that I have been very passionate about, just because I am a part of, the queer community as well. And also like women, I'm very passionate about women's rights. I would definitely say that I'm a feminist. I'm an egalitarian feminist. I genuinely believe in equal rights between men and women. And I am also opposed to the things that society puts men through that often cause men to feel ashamed, or even, not to get too graphic, but some men even commit suicide.
Mhm. And has your foundation helped any people to overcome overcome trauma, PTSD, such as maybe even gun violence and violence because they're LGBTQ?
Excuse me, bit of a dry mouth, allergies and stuff. Not sick, I promise. I'm a singer. I I over indulge in vitamins on a regular basis. But so I would say that I would say, as far as like were you asking like is there like a particular like demographic that
Yeah,
I
have you ever helped people that LGBTQ people who have experienced maybe gun violence and violence, so that they could overcome that PTSD or of course there are so many people in need. I was just wondering if you have ever helped some people that
Mhm.
have PTSD.
Yes, I actually have. During the Me Too movement, I was a very, very passionate and strong advocate. I'm still connected to several advocates from that movement, which, in many people's opinion, is still going on, and the fight is not over. But the Me Too movement really opened my eyes up to the oppression that women, go through in this world. And it empowered me and allowed me to realize that it's my calling in life to advocate for other women. So yeah, women is, that's definitely another demographic that, I'm very passionate
Was there
about for sure.
was there any point in your life when you decided to do fundraising for people? And was there like something that happened to you that made you decide to go this route?
Yeah. I mean, I actually have been through, a great deal of trauma in my life, especially, being a performer in the entertainment industry. It's not easy being a woman. I mean, not to, get dark, but pretty much everything that you hear about on TV, it's all true. It's all real. Like the industry can be that bad. But I've also, because of, the awareness that was raised by advocates, who had the same hearts as me, I was able to open my, self up to a, whole other world of possibilities, essentially, when I realized, like, hey, like, this is not the way that it's supposed to be. And, like, we're finally going to break out of this mold, and we're going to, like, rewrite the stars here.
Well, Nikki says it seems as if what you're saying is that you saw the need and the people need the help, and then you stepped in to help because you decided that you were not going to lie down and do nothing about it.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, this may sound a bit like biased, but I used to say that sometimes the people who like watch other people get like targeted and do nothing about it are just as bad as the people who are attacking those people. People who just kind of turn a blind eye when they see that another human being needs their help and is suffering. I am not really the type of person who can do that. And, someone out there has gotta be a superhero. I guess it's not meant for everyone, and just gotta step up and be a leader.
Mhm. Well, I'm sure that you have people who are inspired by your work, Nikki. Again, let us know when your next event is, and if more people want to learn about you and your work, where should they go?
Definitely my website, nikkisage.com or nikkio.com. Either or. I'm gonna be updating a lot of my pages here in the very, very near future, as we have a really, really awesome AI optimized system going that we'll talk more about in future appearances. But yeah, I got some really great plans for the future for sure.
Okay. And again, your next summer fundraiser is at
Pork
um,
chop this Saturday from 5 to midnight. It's going to be a music festival, networking mixer. We're going to have vendors, we're going to have performers, we're going to have dancers, pole performers, drag, burlesque. I mean, a little bit of everything. It's a variety show, Why just like make it a music festival? Why not like an arts festival, you know?
and did you say that there will be some bands too? If so, which bands?
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be bands. My band is performing, Nikki Sage. Sativa Rays is um not really a band. They're actually an LGBTQ like hip hop like artist rapper. Definitely a fan favorite. They're gonna be performing as well. We'll be announcing the full lineup soon, so definitely look out on our social media. My social media is Nicki Sage, Nicki, like Nicki Minaj, and then Sage, as in like the plant. Sometimes you can light it on fire and stuff. It's really cool. I used to pick sage, like out in the mountains in Colorado. But and then so Simply, and then Nikki Sage, and then also Simply Sage Media and Entertainment is the name of the agency.
Okay. And by the way, sage also means wise and wisdom. And we're very happy to have spoken with you today on WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM and uh, listen to some of the wisdom that you have imparted to us.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind, Trudy. Thank you. It's been an honor to be on this show. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely follow us. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you so much.